Our study of the Dallas Police Department has convinced us that it is one of the finest departments in this country. What is most impressive about it is that it is eager to undertake a program of development which can take it beyond any other department we know about. The Police Foundation wants to be a part of this program. I think that the people of Dallas have reason to be proud of their department and of their government. I think you can be especially proud of your chief, who after 1 year has become one of the most important leaders in America of the police profession.
Technically, what we're going to do is simply observe police arrests. When police stop a car and begin searching it, we're going to approach it, obtain the people that are being searched, names. We're going to get the police officers' names and badge numbers and observe what goes on. According to the law, an officer is only allowed to search a car for weapons, and only then if he's in immediate fear of his life. It's very difficult for an officer to justify looking in a trunk for a weapon because he's in fear of his life. He can only look in the immediate area around the driver. And we intend to put a stop to illegal searches and seizures by documenting it. We only feel there are a few police officers doing this. We only feel there are a few police officers harassing people, needlessly. And we're going to put a stop to that and get those particular officers removed from the force or transferred to a different area.
Well, I have no reaction other than this. I would hope that while they're patrolling that area to watch for police activity, I would hope that they watch for crime activity as well and report that to the police department so we can take care of it.
Well, feeling in Austin is that they have already given to the cities some tax benefits, and it will not be easy to do, but we still think that there is a pretty good feeling for this type of thing.
Your meeting tonight is going to consist of probably the most influential of the legislators when it comes to getting permissive legislation like this. What do you expect to accomplish tonight?
Well, I think the thing we want to accomplish tonight is to get unanimity, if we can, among our group in the legislature. And if we do, I think that we have a good opportunity of getting such a bill through.
Too soon for you to say what this is going to mean to the citizen on the street in terms of better police protection?
It's too soon for them to expect results right away, but it's not too soon for me to tell you what they can expect, because this is going to be a long-range, comprehensive, in-depth human resource development plan which will permit us to develop our human resources to the maximum potential. That, in effect, will create for the person on the street an understanding and a respect for one of the finest police departments in the country, staffed with the most competent police personnel in the country. So what it means then is a professional police service for the citizens in the city of Dallas much more quickly than other police departments will be able to realize that goal.
If city councilmen and county commissioners can convince the legislators in Austin this evening that permissive legislation should be passed, it could mean as much as $1 million a year apiece for the city and the county. The state comptroller's office estimates revenues from the 10-cent liquor by the drink tax at $42 million. Assuming that Dallas County has about 10% of the population, and that's pretty close, 10 cents would bring in $4.2 million a year. So dividing a 5-cent tax would mean slightly over $1 million apiece to the city and the county. That would be a considerable relief to homeowners who kick in a major share of taxes, and the homeowners apparently have come to recognize this. At yesterday's city council meeting, Jerry Bartis, representing a group of Dallas homeowners, told councilmen they would either get some revenue from liquor by the drink, or homeowners would vote against the amendment. It wouldn't seem that there would be too much trouble convincing the legislature that cities should put their own tax on liquor by the drink. The cities can point to increased law enforcement requirements, which will have to be paid for somehow. And Dallas can point also to its hotel and motel tax, which was put into effect even before the legislature gave the city the go-ahead. The so-called dry legislators in Austin are expected to vote for the tag-on tax simply as a challenge to wets to prove that liquor by the drink can pull in the revenue that the wets have claimed for it. The stumbling block may be the liquor industry, which seems to fear a loss in sales if another tax is tacked onto the shot glass. But if those homeowners are serious, and they certainly seem to be, lobbyists may be caught between a rock and a hard place. Either they can approve the extra tax, or face the possibility of not having liquor by the drink at all, at least for another year. Phil Reynolds, Channel 8 News on the Move.
Amendment number 4 would actually authorize the state of Texas to sell $100 million in general obligation bonds that would be used for loans to cities. Now, this would actually mean more than the $100 million because it would enable the federal government then to provide more funds in matching grants and loans. Mayor Stovall explained exactly why this particular amendment would mean over $7.25 million to the city of Fort Worth.
The expansion of the Village Creek Sewer Treatment Plant by 1975, or additional enlargements that we need, will cost a total of approximately $33 million. If Amendment number 4 is passed, or is favorable to the voters, we would receive $18 million in federal aid, and that would be $7,260,000 more than we could receive under the existing state law.
The construction that's going on now at Village Creek Sewage Treatment Plant is only one of several to come. By 1975, it's hoped that this plant will be so big that the controversial Riverside Sewage Treatment Plant will be phased out completely. Mayor Stovall says that it would help if the city could get this extra $7.25 million. Jay Lewis, Channel 8 News on the Move at the Village Creek Sewage Treatment Plant.
I am extremely impressed with some of the 2,000 student nurses. They seem very interested in education. They're well-mannered. We're just extremely impressed with the future nurses.
Are you getting enough recruits?
I can't answer that. I'm afraid we'll never have enough nurses to meet all of our needs.
Of course, hospitals and universities from all over the country are in Dallas for this convention. But what about the Dallas Hospital Council? Are you doing any good recruiting here?
We are doing some excellent recruitment. Dallas is a place where the students like to live. We're featuring many things: the 240 Days of Sunshine, the Center for Men.
By the way,
and
it
Money.
rained all the way.
The Center for Men and Money, and especially the ways to upgrade their education.
The Dallas proposal asks for permissive legislation to let the city and the county each collect 2.5 cents on another nickel tax on liquor by the drink. That would make the total new tax 15 cents a drink. Estimates of the revenue available through the nickel tax range from $700,000 to more than $2 million for each government. The atmosphere in Austin last night seemed favorable to the Dallas proposal. Leaders of both the Senate and the House promised to support the plea for more tax revenue, especially after both councilmen and commissioners pointed to ailing finances, increased demands for services, and the load on property taxpayers. The chances that the proposal can be tacked onto a bill between now and election time, May 18th, are slim, but the support of legislators is essentially what property taxpayers asked the City Council for Monday. At that time, Jerry Bartis, representing a group of homeowners, told councilmen they must get some revenue from liquor by the drink, or the homeowners will work for defeat of the amendment. Perhaps as significant as the qualified success in Austin is the fact that both councilmen and commissioners got together to plead the case. It's the first time the city and the county have presented a united front on a proposal since R.L. Thornton Jr. was mayor. Both bodies are highly aware of the fact that Dallas County comprises more than 10% of the state's population, and that the nearly 2 million people in Dallas County swing considerable clout in Austin. With the new cooperation, it's possible that the next session of the legislature could be the year of the local bill. This is Phil Reynolds, Channel 8 News on the Move.
That wall stands today in mute testimony to a fire last night that could only be described as a raging inferno. Over 150 Fort Worth firemen battled valiantly all night long to contain the blaze at the Armor Packing Company, a blaze which threatened not only to explode hydrogen, but also to spread to the Swift Packing Company a block away, a packing company which has only been closed for 2 weeks long. I asked Fire District Chief Roy Cox about problems in fighting last night's blaze.
High wind was one problem, plus a lot of sparks naturally from the amount of fire we had there. Of course, the thing was completely involved when the first company got here, which was a major problem. This first building here was totally involved. And we had a big exposure problem. We had a hydrogen plant on one side and some animal fat in this building right here. We had low water pressure and we didn't have adequate manpower. We utilized about 18 of our pumps and about 5 ladders, and we still didn't have enough equipment, but that's all we could get because we have to cover the rest of the city with the rest of it.
Although the fire itself was big, had it spread, for example, to the Swift plant, which actually caught on fire at one point, or to the buildings where the hydrogen tanks are stored, it could have been much bigger. The cinders were in the air. It looked like a meteor shower in Fort Worth, but it was contained, and a 70-year-old landmark has vanished. Jay Lewis, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
No effect at all on the post office, strictly regional reduction.
If we move the regional office farther away from Dallas, won't this affect Postal Service?
No, it will not.
And I'm happy with the contract, and I'm real happy to be with the Chaparral organization.
How much serious consideration did you give to other teams? Did you shop around both leagues before reaching an agreement?
Brian, it wasn't really a matter of shopping around. It was more a situation of just listening to and hearing what the other teams were offering. I always said to myself that I wanted to get the best possible financial situation for me and the people around me. So the Chaparrals made a very good offer and made it very difficult to turn down, and that's basically what the consideration was. I hope my company coming here to Dallas will improve the ball club. You know, last year didn't have a real good record, but then there were a lot of other things that can be, you know, that go into not having a good season, and I hope that my being here will in some way be responsible for them having a better season.
You know, it's kind of nice to think about you and Donnie Freeman in that backcourt, and I'm sure that you would kind of look forward to the idea of playing with him.
Yeah, Free and I played together in Chicago, and he's a real tough ball player. I played with a very good guard, you know, and Jimmy, and we had a real tough backcourt, and I don't think it's, you know, when I think of myself and Jimmy playing together, I think of us being probably the best, and I think of myself and Freeman in the same category. So I don't think I'll be losing anything, and I hope that he won't be losing anything by playing with me.
Five votes for John Green for president, 3 votes for Marvin Berkeley for president, and 1 abstention. The chair declares John Green president of the Board of Education for the 71-72 school year.
There will be, of course, all people will be replaced either locally or in the Memphis regional office, and this will be done through the reduction in force procedures as established by the Civil Service Commission.
You have 250 people working in the regional office here. What happens to them?
Well, many of them will, we hope, go to Memphis on jobs there. We will have 2 district-type offices here that will take part of the people, a very small majority, and the others will just be left to be placed with other agencies or terminated in government service.
Do you know yet how many will have to move and how many will have to retire?
No, I don't, because I don't, the retirement will be by choice, and I don't know how many will choose to retire. With the bonus that was given by the Postmaster General for retirement, there should be a considerable number retire that have of the older employees.
I think the basic problem that was involved in the ethics issue, as I have stated on a number of occasions before, was that some of our leadership in the legislature did not feel responsive to the people of Texas, and did not feel or thought they were above the responding to the people for their actions. And likewise, I think the problem we now have, and one reason why there's an effort to keep Dallas and Harris County from having single-member legislative districts, is this same leadership feels they can get by with it, and the people will not hold them accountable for it.
A loved one of my
express purpose of our bank is exactly that. We want to see a more favorable balance of payments in our worldwide situation.
Well,
Yes.
are you being successful at all?
We think we have been. When we took over the administration under our chairman, Henry Kearns, our contract values of exports supported by the Export-Import Bank was approximately $2.5 billion per year. The last fiscal year, the contract value of exports supported by the Export-Import Bank was $5.5 billion. The current year, if we're successful and the projections look very good, the contract value of exports supported by the Export-Import Bank should be nearly $8 billion.